Terry McLaurin returning, but holding in possibly. Like, look, 4-day holdout cost him $200,000. He comes to camp, and then it's like, I came to camp, got a little ankle issue, not going to run. Immediately, everybody screams, hold in. Can I freak out about that, C-Rob?
Well,
Let me freak out about something.
You get back in the building because, look, if you're losing money, right, your agent is like, hey, man, there's a way to do this without losing money. You go in and you have, hey, your back's feeling a little achy. It's an ankle. It's, hey, my knee is a little bulky right now. I've got some swelling. Like, you come up with any reason ultimately to not get on the field. I think the good thing is he's in the building, right? He's around his teammates. I think you have an organization that does want to do a deal with Terry McLaurin. I think the feelings that help to get a deal done are much easier to embrace when you have a guy who's in the building. And by the way, you can talk to. You see him. Yeah. You can talk to him when he's in the building. Yeah. When he's not in the building, all it takes is agent doesn't pick up the phone. He doesn't pick up the phone. They're ignoring it. The guy says, you know what? I'm so pissed off about this. I'm going to go to Cabo for a week, because I just want to clear my mind. He's not doing any of that. He's there. And that matters. And by the way, he's not out on the field, but he is in the classroom, right? And being in the classroom also matters. So I think in terms of getting a deal done, it's better for a guy to be in the building than not in the building. And so far, I think everything that Washington has said has led me to believe that they're going to get a deal done here. But, when wide receiver money creeps into the $25 million, $30 million range, which is where any number one wide receiver worth his salt, particularly young quarterback, wants to be, these deals are not going to be as easy to get done as people necessarily think. Look, Justin Jefferson, even that deal now, I can tell you, I'm not going to say which team it is, but I've been through five training camps so far, and I had a very specific conversation about wide receiver money with one general manager, and he just straight up said, like, the Justin Jefferson deal is just undoable. Like, it's just, even now, it's one of these deals where it's like, what do we, like, it can cripple your franchise. We're never going to do a deal anywhere approaching that, for a wide receiver. Yeah, I still think there are teams right now that are like, paying a wide receiver $30+ million is, as this general manager said to me, he touches the ball maybe 8 times a game. Like, I can't pay a guy $30 million on offense who touches the ball 8 times. I just won't allow myself.
That's why that's the same line of thinking that led the Tennessee Titans to trade AJ Brown, though. I mean, like, this is the market, but I mean, specifically,
John Robinson did a really nice job filling in on Good Morning Football. I'm sorry, I'm just throwing shade. Go ahead, Frank.
The McLaurin thing, yeah, I assume it'll get done, but it's one of those things I always say, like, until it is done, and all of a sudden now we get into August, or we get into the first preseason week and a second preseason week, and it's not done, then you start to worry. Look, Terry McLaurin is a dude the Commanders, a fairly new regime there, should want to pay and put him out in front of everybody and say, look, this guy was a soldier for us when we were terrible. We want to reward him. This is what happens when you do your job and you're a consummate professional like Terry McLaurin. You will get rewarded by this regime.
Let me throw one thing at you, though.
Sure.
Adam Peters, the general manager there, was in the 49ers organization, right? Brandon Aiyuk went through. Now Peters was not there for this, but it happened, right? And Peters has institutional knowledge of the 49ers organization. Brandon Aiyuk went through a hold-in, right? Did the whole, hey, I'm going to be here, but I'm not going to be, out on the field. Maybe I'll take a walk around practice at times and make it a little spicy for the beat writers and the national writers who are coming through. Ultimately, what happened? The 49ers did their deal with Aiyuk going into camp after shopping him around and potentially looking at trading him to like Pittsburgh, New England, maybe Cleveland. The deal got done. Fine. Everybody's happy. And now you're kind of like, are the 49ers really that happy with this deal? Are they really happy that they did a Brandon Aiyuk deal?
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of like, hey, is Brandon Aiyuk available?
Right.
Are the 49ers going to stick with this guy long term? You went out and drafted Ricky Pearsall. You got Juwan Jennings. You have, some other players here who ultimately you have to pay, got the Brock Purdy deal done. So that's just to say, like, remember, Peters has institutional knowledge of being inside the 49ers. He knows Kyle Shanahan. He knows the front office there. He knows there was a reticence there on that, behalf of that front office to pay that much money for Brandon Aiyuk. And I'm sure he knows that there's maybe a little bit of buyer's remorse here. Maybe that plays into Peter's mind where he's like, I don't want to have buyer's remorse here and just roll out a $30 million a year contract.
I'm also looking at, we spent a lot of time talking about the future of quarterback in the NFL draft. When you look at some of the young wide receivers that are in college football right now, you can't tell me that it doesn't make sense at some point. I mean, I'll be talking to Jeremiah Smith today for Yahoo Sports, right? Like a lot of these young guys, they fall in love with.
Yeah. I mean, look, I get the wide receiver thing, but Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, and that 2027 class looks like super bumper.
It's less about those two particulars and more about it. You want to like wins above replacement. If we're going to have that conversation about running backs, particularly, do you ever, do you pay one because you can draft one? I just have to wonder for the top of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, they'll get their $30 million a year. For everybody else, you're really going to sit there and say, well, would I rather pay this guy $22 million or would I rather just go take a stab at the next rookie phenom at the wide receiver position? It's just, to me, it's going to become a replaceable position at some point because of the good play, the quality play that's coming out of college.